Pakistan and England drew a titanic test match in Abu Dhabi. Titanic in the sense that not much happened for quite a long time, and then it was all action. 14 sessions which attempted to destroy the entire concepts of hope and joy, followed by 2 hours of zany madcap hypercricket that even Salvador Dali would not have painted in his more crackpot moments. Although, interestingly, Dali did actually get the idea for the melting watches after watching an ODI in the gut-boiling heat of Abu Dhabi. That is a fact. Sorry, not a fact, that is a lie. West Indies continued their campaign to ensure the dawn of their great victory over England in Bridgetown in May is confirmed as yet another false one. Clumped by a post-Sangakkara Sri Lanka for whom Rangana Herath took his 5th 10-wicket haul in 29 tests since March 2012. Tidy effort from the wily tweakster and 5-time Athlete of the Year from Unathletic-looking Men Monthly magazine. Quick word for Kemar Roach too, stumped in both innings, only the 5th man to achieve that feat in more than 1,700 tests since 1956. Bad news though for Marlon Samuels. He could be facing another ban from bowling due to a wonky action. Really, it's the fans I feel most sorry for though. Generations of young cricket lovers cruelly denied the chance to see Marlon dob down some unthreatening offies during a passage of play with all the competitive intensity of an orange in a pile of sticks. Meanwhile, Virender Sehwag, one of the great cricketing entertainers, has retired from international cricket after 2.5 years ago being retired by India from international cricket. In that time though, without playing for India, he still managed to score at a strike rate of around 75 in tests despite not actually batting. That's how aggressive Sehwag was. Joining him in the international afterlife, Zahir Khan, the scheming swingster who made it possible for India to pick Sreesanth and still win some games. That is true sporting heroism. And finally, we did, at great expense to ESPN Cricinfo, hire 100 joke writers to come up with a single good gag about Shiv Sena storming the BCCI offices to stop talks about India playing Pakistan. But all they handed back was a swimming pool of human tears. Please, leave cricket alone.
So, Doc, we've escaped from Abu Dhabi. Those 4 2/3 days. What do you make of that as a jail sentence?
Well, I thought being dead was boring, but at least it's supposed to be boring.
End was a bit silly as well. Back in our day, we'd only go off for bad light in the event of an actual apocalypse.
Yes, I once batted all night for the MCC against Lord Snutterbuck's 11.
11? Well, that might be a number we don't hear too much of in future. Could have 6-a-side cricket at the Olympics.
Pretty sure Australia only picked 6 players in the Ashes, didn't they? Maybe that's where they got the idea from.
That's at least 5 more than you guys picked when you went south 2 years ago.
Well, we used to have to play against 22 sometimes, didn't we, Frederick? Maybe that's the future for international cricket. Some form of handicapping system. Some teams should have more players than other teams.
Based presumably on how rich and influential their cricket boards are.
That seems entirely fair.
Cricket, humanity's greatest ever creation, in the words of no less an authority than me and him, could be gunning for a place at the Olympics, possibly, people say in the T20 format, possibly in the indoor cricket format, possibly even in the 6-a-side format. Now, you might well be thinking, what the hell? Indoor or 6-a-side cricket in the world's greatest festival of sport? Isn't that like inviting Justin Bieber to a literature festival? I hope so. Why not go the whole hog and just have pencil cricket? Well, other sports do, in fairness, send one of their less interesting formats to the Olympics. Rugby Sevens is starting at the Rio Games next year. Equestrian dressage, for example, not a patch on medieval jousting. Archery, aiming at a large target, who cares, versus archery, aiming at an apple on a child's head. No contest, it's all about entertainment. Greco-Roman wrestling or Greco-Roman architecture, give me those columns every time. Now, we're all in favour of cricket expanding its global reach on this show. I'm assuming neither of us is from England, Australia or India when I say that. Jared, talk us through the Olympic conundrum.
Let's answer some questions that I'm sure a lot of people have. Isn't there already too much cricket? Well, there is too much cricket, so we should cancel some of it. We should cancel a tournament that roughly has 8 weeks every Olympic cycle that made it so that no one else could play any other sport. Let's call that tournament the Champions League. Do you remember that?
No.
That's kind of my point. So we have an extra 8 weeks already that we can just that are just there, that are available for us. On top of that, we have a World T20. We could just move that World T20 just to the side a little bit, and we'll put it in the Olympics. Suddenly, we actually have extra days to make even more cricket, and isn't that what this is really about?
Well, I'd like the Olympics to come to cricket. I believe Test matches should be expanded to include speed skating and rowing.
England, Ireland, and the West Indies won't be able to play in as they currently are in the Olympics. That is 100% true. Ireland is 2 different countries. The West Indies is, 7,000 islands. And England, obviously, something to do with Great Britain in the Olympics. I don't really understand. But who cares? That makes it even more interesting. We're actually going to invent new cricket teams. Who doesn't want to invent new cricket teams? We match them up. Basically, this is how it works. You put on matching tracksuits. You walk really slowly in a circle. Someone's holding a flag, and you're there. It's the Olympics. There are other people who say pinnacle of sport. Now, why can't the Olympics be the pinnacle of T20 International? It's not like there are all these children who grew up going, oh, when I'm older, I want to play the World T20. I mean, no one cares about the World T20. It just existed 8 minutes ago. So this is the pinnacle of World T20. Yeah, of T20.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I want Test match cricket in the Olympics, but I want it played on absolute featherbed pitches, timeless matches, and let the Olympics expand to let cricket in. We should not compromise on our long-held ideals.
The other one is that cricket doesn't need the Olympics. Now, you're probably right if you're MS Dhoni, but what about disability cricketers trying to get funding, or associate cricketers trying to get anything, or women's cricket trying to get promotion? Cricket needs all the help it can get, because what we want from cricket is for everyone in the world to have the chance to be confused by our great sport.
Testify. So, the Pakistan-England tests in Dubai, I guess to sum it up, it would basically be... I think that's pretty much the test match covered, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I've just got memories of Alistair Cook batting, but then again, I have for about the last 10 years.
Yeah. It was not the most thrilling 263 ever made in Test cricket. I know of absolute titanic effort of concentration and stamina. But, Jared, should England have gone for the win a bit earlier than they did, which was basically right at the end when they almost accidentally got in a position to win it?
I think when the other team scores so many runs and you're on that kind of pitch, you sort of get lulled into thinking, all we can do is draw this. And let's be honest, it doesn't take a lot to get England to think, let's just go for the draw. But the attacking form of cricket that they did, it really took them a while to find it.
Yeah, because there was a stage at the end of day 4. They'd caught up with Pakistan. They still had 5 wickets in hand, and they just still kind of just stodging along, batted on into day 5.
What would you have done, Andy?
Bowled 25. Oh, I just thought, having got into that position, they could have taken a few more risks to try and win. It's almost like they thought, there's no way we can win this. We'll just play it out, save our bowlers a bit. And then all of a sudden, mayhem unfolded. Yunus and Misbah both played sub-schoolboy. You'd have been expelled from my school for playing shots like that. Maybe they're just too inexperienced for this level of the game, and Pakistan need to start picking 50-year-olds instead of 40-year-olds. But I just thought England could have just gambled a little bit. There was no risk. There was no way they could have lost that game.
I mean, essentially...
Is that harsh? I mean, they had spent 4 days basically in an oven.
Yeah, look, basically, it was... I just think the game was saved by Adil Rashid.
Right.
So I think you're thinking about this.
Cricket was saved by Adil Rashid.
It should have been a draw. The people who watched it, eyeballs should have started bleeding. Should have been at some point where you could taste the sand in the air. And instead, Adil Rashid came in. And I think, prominent cricket writers used to say he wasn't good enough and he was a roller and he had the wrong attitude. He seemed okay, didn't he?
Yeah, given that they were saying that basically during the start of that spell, it was great. It was... well, not only the first 5 for an English leg spinner since 1959.
Father Marriott?
No, well, he was the last leg spinner on debut for England to take 5 for 8. In 1933, he took 11 wickets in his only test, so clearly England should drop Rashid. He's had his day.